Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Nathan Boyd, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Colonel Frank Colley. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of the ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem, which will be led this evening by the Colorado Children's Chorale. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was a vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance of the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who gave their lives for us in war and in operation for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid by the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private John Hall Atkinson. John Atkinson was born on the 1st of March 1884, the only son of John and Louisa Atkinson of the Sydney suburb of Balmain. When he was young, the family moved to Melbourne, where he was educated at the Melbourne Road School in Param. There is some evidence that his father either died or left the family at some point around the turn of the century. After completing his education, John went on to work as a debt collector for the Metropolitan Gas Company in Melbourne. John was a keen sportsman, being a member of the St Kilda Cricket Club. However, he was best known as a baseball player, playing for the St Kilda Baseball Club from the earliest days of the Victorian boom in baseball of the early 20th century. He represented Victoria in interstate matches for 4 years and regarded as one of the best outfielders in Victoria. John Atkinson enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in March 1915, just weeks before the Gallipoli landing. He underwent a period of training in Australia before leaving for active service overseas with the 24th Battalion. The 24th Battalion had departed before many of its newer recruits had finished its training, and so on its arrival in Egypt, it underwent a longer period of training than most before going to Gallipoli. Private Atkinson missed some of this training through contracting an infection in his knee in late July 1915, which resulted in a period in hospital for treatment. The 24th Battalion landed on Gallipoli in early September 1915. The major offensives were over by then, but life on the peninsula was still hard, with the constant threat of snipers, as well as ongoing problems with sickness and disease. The 24th Battalion was largely employed in holding the recently captured trenches at Lone Pine, a dangerous and exhausting task that saw the men rotating in and out of the front line frequently. As the winter began to set in, many Australian soldiers began to feel the effects of the cold, and they were evacuated from the peninsula with influenza or worse. In late October, after some 6 weeks on Gallipoli, Atkinson became sick and was diagnosed with pneumonia. He was evacuated on board HS Sudan, bound for hospital in Malta. On the 24th of October, while still en route to Malta, Private John Atkinson died. He was buried at sea the same day. Today, John Atkinson is commemorated on the Lone Pine Memorial on the heights above Anzac Cove. He was 31 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private John Hall Atkinson, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post-ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.